talk to you today about business cards. Now, if you have been traveling for so long that you cannot even imagine carrying around random pieces of paper, or you wouldn't even know where to have these business cards mailed to, let me fill you in. Business cards are those square or rectangular pieces of paper that give strangers really important information about you, like your name and your email address. But there's often an overlooked portion of the business card, your job title. For a lot of people, you passively accept the job title that's given to you. I once had the job title Operations Specialist, and I worked in navigation on a ship. I also had the job title Legal Administrative Specialist, and I was a glorified secretary in a law office. It wasn't until I became a digital nomad that I got to choose my own job title. But wait, we're getting ahead of ourselves, so let's back up a bit. A couple years ago, I was living in Bali. Now, I'm sure none of you have ever been to Bali, but if you have, there's this little unknown co-working space called Ubud. And Ubud and Bali are magical in their own way, and there's a lot of woo-woo happening in Bali. And for me, that woo-woo came through, or manifested, as a second business. My first business wasn't doing very well, to be honest, and with my second business fresh in my mind, I started doing all the things. I built a new website, and I updated my LinkedIn, and because I was headed back to the States, business cards. So I got onto Canva, like we all do, and built new business cards. And I proudly put the word writer as my job title. But the word seemed lonely. Wasn't I more than that? I've done a lot of cool things in my life, and yet the only label I could give myself was writer. I was not okay with this, but I didn't really know what else to do. So I took myself through an exercise that I take all of my clients through. If you were going to introduce yourself to me today, how would you introduce yourself if you couldn't talk about your job, your education, where you live, where you're from, or your family? Who are you? If you've never thought about this question before, it can seem overwhelming and potentially unanswerable, but there is an answer. You are your hobbies. Now, when I bring up the topic of hobbies to digital nomads, I'm met with two responses. First, I do not have space in my suitcase, and second, I'm building a business, I ain't got the time for that. So let's talk about it. Time is fascinating, right? Like, it's scarce, and there's a no refund policy with time. You can't get back what you've put in. But there's actually a lot of time. There's this little unknown book called The 4-Hour Workweek. You probably have never heard of it, but this guy, Tim Ferriss, wrote this book and gave us all this really great lie. You can travel the world and build multiple businesses and write all these books and go to the gym and eat healthy and date beautiful women, and all by working on your business for just 4 hours a week. Can you believe that? I'm a sucker that bought that book. It's not practical, but I like the 4-hour idea. 4 hours is 240 minutes. When you break that down by the day, that's 35 minutes a day. 35 minutes is how long it took me to get ready this morning. 35 minutes is just a fraction of the time that I will spend mindlessly scrolling through social media today. There are 71 days left in 2018. 71. And if you spend 35 minutes a day working on your hobby, you will be a different person by the end of the year. A whole new person, I would say. The second obstacle that I'm met with when I talk about hobbies with digital nomads is the no space in my suitcase excuse. Now, I was the square of the carry-on traveler for the bingo yesterday. I have a backpack and carry-on only. I don't have space in my suitcase for a souvenir or an extra t-shirt. I definitely don't have space in my suitcase for gear for some random hobby. But tomorrow I'm getting on a plane and I'm going to go to a little island and I'm going to go scuba diving for a week. And the only gear that I own for this hobby is my diving watch that does fit in my suitcase. I'm going to rent everything else when I get there. There are so many hobbies that you can do by renting when you get there or using the little gear and equipment that you can carry with you. So here are just a couple examples of some hobbies that you can do while you're traveling. You can scuba dive. You can run. You can do morning pages. You could do photography. You could read and write. You could sing and dance. You could send postcards to your family, which I bet they would all love. Remember that business card that I was building back in Bali? I still needed a second word. Who am I? I needed a word that described me, not how I made money. And then it hit me. I am a creative. I do creative things. I don't do creative things well, but I do creative things. My friend picked out my outfit that I was going to wear today because I can't do that. And I would be way too embarrassed to ever sing or dance in public. But I do things that matter to me. I send postcards back to my family, and I write fiction, and I sometimes do morning pages. I am a creative, and that's the second word that I put on my business card. So who are you? What's the second word that you would put on your business card? How would you spend your 4 hours a week? Thank you. I'm just going to wait here for Kit because she forgot about me. Oh, hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Sorry. Mic problems. So that was wonderful.
Thank you.
So I think like for people who enjoy movement, we nomads can be surprisingly stuck in our habits
Sure.
and our routines.
Sure.
So what are some ways you would suggest to like shake ourselves out of that so we appreciate doing something creative just for the sake of it again? So we appreciate like the gift of our movement and travel again.
Yeah. So in every city you go to, there's some travel blogger who has graciously made the blog post top 10 things to do in insert city here. I feel like that is a great place to start, but it's also a little expected. And then you will probably have the exact same memories as everybody else that went to that place. So I would suggest finding things that aren't on that list. Find things to do that don't take a ton of time, that aren't hours and hours away, that don't take a lot of money, and do the little things that the locals do. Stop along the way when you're in Thailand and go into a temple that's wide open to the public. And just look around and sit and be without your phone, without talking to anyone, and just be there and really take it all in.
Without my phone, though, I mean, that's asking a lot.
No. So I almost did not bring my laptop on this trip. I mean, I did. Don't be crazy. But I thought about it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not working this week.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be scuba diving next week. So, like, do I need my laptop? I mean, a little part of me really does.
And confession, I've definitely, like, I had my laptop on, like, a cruise, like, down the Nile that was, like, a boat that you just slept out on the deck. It was really rough, but I had my laptop still.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, questions. Starting, I knew Sonia was going to say something.
Hi.
And I'm going to say what you wanted me to say, maybe. The best thing I did to get back into having more time for hobbies is that I started being offline 1 day a week.
Ooh.
So usually it's Sunday. It's not today, because of course I need to be online for this.
Sure.
But it's been really, really crazy. I did that. It was really hard the first few weeks. I have to say, I've not always been offline as I wanted to. It takes a little bit of preparation, like, you know, you need Google Maps offline. You need to know the recipe because you will suddenly have so much time to cook, but you don't have a cookbook. And at some point, I noticed that during the week, I was like, you know, thinking of things that I would like to do. And I was like, I'm going to do that on Sunday. On Sunday, I have lots of time because I don't have anything else to do. And I was like, well, what am I doing right now? Why can't I do it right now? Mm-hmm. Because I'm on Facebook? Like, but it was a really, really interesting experience, and I highly recommend trying to do that. and you will suddenly have much more than 4 hours to discover some old and maybe new hobbies.
Yeah, and I also recommend, so now I'm like a real person, like I have an apartment and a cat and all that, but I try to not use my phone past 9. So I set my alarm and I plug it in and I put it on my bedside table because, it's my alarm. But I try not to just mindlessly scroll through crap that doesn't matter and that I don't need to see and that isn't going to help me sleep well. The only time that I try to use my phone after 9 is for a meditation app. And that has really helped me to read more and think more. Sometimes I feel like I don't have time to think. I don't have time to digest the thoughts of all these great people that I met and everything that I heard at work today. And, did that person really mean to send me a snotty email or am I just misinterpreting? Sometimes I don't have time to download it all. And I have to give myself the time to just be with my thoughts. Because I feel, when I'm in my car, the radio's on or a podcast is on, right? Because I don't want to miss a minute of productivity. But I need time, and I'm willing to bet that a lot of you do too.
Yeah. Other questions? Up there?
I just want to double the screen Sabbath is what I call it. We put it on the calendar once a month for us. So.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
What's Morning Pages?
Morning Pages is from a book called The Artist's Way that you can download on your Kindle, but I highly suggest when you get somewhere, you order it on Amazon, and that's something that I actually do carry around with me. But it's this really great creative process to guide you through whatever your creative process looks like, and the author gives you homework, basically, to do every week, and Morning Pages is something that you're supposed to do every day, and you're supposed to write out 3 pages of handwritten, just like mental dialogue before you do anything else in the morning. A lot of people say it changes their whole life. I love writing. I consider myself a writer, and I started to hate it. So I just started doing 1 page a day. So I feel like customize it to however you want to make it work for you, but it is really nice to get all the crap out of your head and all the mean things that you want to say to people and just write it down, and then you're supposed to never look at it again. I know a lot of people who throw it away, tear up the paper, throw it away. They never look at it again. I can never do that. I keep it in a notebook, filed, like type A. So I can never do that, but it's a really great exercise to clear your brain.
Yeah.
What's that called again?
The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, thank you. It was like child?
Different hobby.
Yeah, different book.
Any other questions? Up there.
Well, I just wanted to add to that too, that the Morning Pages is really cool because it kind of goes in line with what we're talking about, which is the idea of an artist day.
Yeah.
Which is this one day a week that you just go and do something for you, and it doesn't necessarily have to be offline, but I think that's a really good opportunity to take that.
Yeah.
But it's like finding those little hobbies and just giving if you see some museum that you're like, okay, but no, I have to work. It's kind of like, stop making yourself feel guilty about always having to be productive, and then just go and just wander for a little bit. And it's your own time. You have to be alone, and those are the times you really end up thinking. So
Yep.
I think that's another really cool part of the Morning Pages process.
Absolutely.
It took her about a year to convince me to do it, and it has changed a lot.
Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Hi.
We've got down
great
here and then
talk.
Deanna.
I just wondered, how do you avoid doing the serial chronic entrepreneur thing and turning every hobby into another domain name
Yes.
Right. Well, I did not buy watchamberpaintpoorly.com, right, to guide you through my painting journey. Because honestly, no one wants to see that, right? It's bad. It's bad. But I guess I know I don't have the bandwidth. I cannot take on another business. And it's fun. I like the beginning of businesses a lot. But I can't do it. And I guess if I thought, I could really turn this into something, or this could be an Etsy store or whatever, then I think I would have to have the hard conversation with myself of, then you have to stop doing something else. And maybe that's okay, but that's not where it is today, right? Right now, it's just the hobby. And I think that will give you a lot of rewards in and of itself.
Last question, Deanna.
So I wanted to ask you, how do you overcome the question of, well, I can't do this. I don't have time. I can't. I feel like that's where the hobbies get kind of thrown to the wolves because you're not making it enough of a priority. And how did you change that?
I started really, so that actually started about 5 years ago, even before my digital nomad journey started. So I knew that I wanted to be a digital nomad, and I knew I need to save money, I need to pay off my frivolous credit card debt, I need to build up my business, I need to build my list, I need to do all these things before I go to Chiang Mai. And so the first thing I did was I got rid of TV. All TV, all the time, and all news. I deleted all the news apps, like got rid of the physical TV, canceled my Netflix, everything. And you would not believe how much time that freed up. But then I also, I used to play softball with my friends on Tuesdays, and I didn't play the season before I moved to Chiang Mai. And that was hard, and it sucked. Like my last season with my best friends before I leave the country, but like I wanted that more. I wanted to be a digital nomad more than I wanted to do other things like watch TV or mindlessly go through my email and think, oh, well, I'll just put a flag on it and look at it tomorrow because I can't handle that right now. Like if you can't handle it right now, just turn your laptop off and start doing something. And you can start really, really small. Like just turn your laptop off 10 minutes early. I mean, there's so much time. And I think that if you gave yourself the diet people make you do the food log, if you really kept track of your time throughout the day and what you did, I bet you'd be really surprised on how much time you really have.
Yeah. Okay. I
So many
see
questions.
2 more questions. Sorry, what?
Almost.
Okay. One statement, and then Nicole will do one more question, then I'm really going to cut it off. All right. What's your statement?
Yeah, I think what helps, and it's also what Matt is very often recommending, it's like to have a simple question like, what does it cost me to have this habit? Because a lot of habits cost a lot of time. And when you ask yourself, what can I not do during I'm doing this, then you get aware that time is limited and you cannot do everything. And I think simple questions can help.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Nicole, real quick.
Yeah. No, I was going to say with finding time, and I just schedule it like I work.
Yeah.
Like I schedule downtime.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. And I think that once you start, like it's a tiny something, it does kind of start to snowball.
Yeah.
Like this year I started a book club, and just having that time where I have to because I have a book club call that I have to lead. So I must sit down for 10 hours and read this book. And that, having that brain space to do something that is not work, not productive, it's productive, but in a different way, has then kind of given me leave to begin other things.
Exactly.
Yeah. So maybe Nat, you could teach some people some crochet and get them started, All right, everyone give Amber a huge round of applause. Thank you so much.